Hi everyone, and welcome to this tutorial on using the pen tool to create curved lines. And now when it comes to drawing curved lines, just know that it takes a little bit of patience and repetitive use. In time, this will make sense. And by the end of the semester, you will be a lot better than you probably will be in this lesson. But that's okay. Again, this is just a practice session to help you get started on that journey of becoming a pro. So with this in mind, let's go ahead and grab our pen tool by selecting the pen tool inside of our toolbar or pressing P on the keyboard. You're going to want to make sure that your fill is set to none and that you have a stroke color, preferably black. So with our pen tool, let's click our first line up here on line 1. And whenever we do that, if we select our next point and just click once and then let go of the mouse button, you'll notice that we get this straight line. That's not what we want. I'm going to hit Control Z to undo. In order to get this curve, you have to click and drag out the curve. And you notice I have two handles coming out of this point. I've got the left side of the point, which is controlling the curve on that side, the one we can see, and the handle on the right, which is we're going to use to sort of predict how we want the curve to go for the next line. I know that doesn't make any sense, but in time it will. And so normally what I try to do is I try to at least match on the right side the same direction of the line as I can. So I watch the one on the left when it gets to where I want it or close to, and I will sort of then watch the one on the right. It looks like it's going to go the same direction. I'm going to let go. And that sort of creates my point with the curve. To create this next one, I'm going to click and I'm going to drag out the next curve. Okay. Now, if you don't get it right, don't worry about it because we can always go back and fix it. The challenge is knowing how far to pull out the handles and the best way to sort of get that balance. Okay. Because if I push up on this handle, notice what happens to the other side. It goes down. If I pull down on this handle, the other one goes up. So you're always sort of having to strike this balance between the two. And that's really the challenge with this tool. All right, so I'm just going to let go there for now because I can always come back and fix it. All right, so following that line, you notice I tried to follow the same line there. Go back to our next point. I'm going to click. I'm going to pull out that curve. Okay, I like the one on the left. It looks good. The one on the right looks like it's heading in the same direction, so I'm going to stop there and let go. Follow over here to my next point. I'm going to click and drag that out. All right, not bad. I like the one on the left. I'll let go. And I'm going to press spacebar on the keyboard just to go to my hand tool to pull the window over. Let go of the spacebar. And now I'm going to click this other point. I'm going to pull out the handle again. Notice I'm trying to follow the direction of the line on the right if I can, while trying to maintain a similar curve on the left. It might be about as close as I can get. So I'm going to let go. And then finally I'm just going to click this last point up here at the top. Looks good. I don't have to drag out another handle. Looks good enough. So I'm just going to let go of the mouse. I'm going to hit escape just to be safe to finish the line. Now if you mess up, again, like I said, it's not a big deal. What we're going to do to fix it is we're going to go to our direct selection tool. We're going to click on it. And then we're going to click the point that we want to take a look at. So if we zoom in, I'll tell you what, let's zoom in on this one. With my Z, I went to the zoom tool and I'm just clicking in. Now you can kind of see we're just a little bit off. With that, with my direct selection tool, I'm going to select that point. And again, I can move the point to a new location. So if I need to center it just a little bit better there, I can. Now if I need to adjust the curve, again, I can just grab the handle, okay, until I get it close to what I want. Now keep in mind that anytime that you drag the handle close to the original point, you're almost creating a straight line, all right? The further away you pull it, of course, you get the arc. But again, with this tool, it's learning to try to find the balance between the two. And again, you'll notice here that if I were to pull this one down, the other one goes up. If I were to push this up, the other one goes down. So again, trying to figure out that balance is always the most difficult part with this tool. Not bad. And what I would do is I would eventually just work my way around to each point. And again, if I select the line, I can see where all the points are. And I can select the point I want to work with. And again, adjust it as needed. And so that's one of the things that'll take some practice and some getting used to. But in time, you will get it. It just takes practice. All right, so let me zoom out here. I'm going to do Control 0 to go back to my artboard. Let's go to line 2. So I'm going to press Z on the keyboard to go to my zoom tool. I'm going to keep clicking till I get 2 in the window. Hold down the space bar to get my hand tool, reposition the window, and we'll start there. Grab the pen tool, select to put my first point down. At the next dot, I'm going to click and I'm going to drag out the curve. The challenge with the pen tool is really learning where to put that point to draw out the curve. I'm going to click the top here, and again I'm going to pull out the curve to kind of match, but notice what happens if I put my next point in. Again, it's pulling out this curve because the curve handle says to go that direction first. I don't want that, so I'm going to press Control Z to undo. So if I don't want this curve handle to basically affect my next line, because that's a pretty strong or straight edge, I'm going to hold down the Alt key, then click on that point. By doing so, I get to keep the original curve on the left side, but now I can start off with a straight edge on the right. So I'm going to click, I'm going to drag out the next one. Oh, that one's a lot better than the other one. And again, I'm going to click over here. If I need to pull it out, I can. And again, if I want to get rid of this handle, press down the Alt key and then click on the point to keep the left side but get rid of the handle on the right. You notice I didn't put a dot here because I want you to try to figure out where the best place is. Normally when I'm putting this down, what I try to figure out is where's the middle of that curve going to be, and I start there. So I'm going to click and drag here. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. And then I'm going to come over here to click my next one and again just pull it out. Okay, not bad. And again I'm going to press down the Alt key, click on the point. Again, click at the bottom of this curve. And then I'm going to click here to end it. And pull it out. There we go. Alt, close it out, and then I'm going to hit Escape. And again, if we wanted to fix it, so for example, out of all the points, I'd say this one needs some work. I can press the Z to go to my zoom tool, zoom in. Oh, goodness, that looks horrible. I'm going to press my direct selection tool, which is A on the keyboard, select that point, and first I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to pull this handle in to better match this, and on this side, I'm going to pull this handle back just a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this point. I'm going to sort of adjust it. Again, it just takes a little bit of getting used to sort of match it. And that's not, it's better. Still looks a little bit weird right there though, but it could be because maybe I set that point too high. All right, you know what? I could spend all day adjusting this because that's just one of my personality traits is obsessive compulsive. But anyway, basically what I want to show you is that don't worry if you get it off the first time, because you can always come back and edit it by using your direct selection tool to adjust those handles and those points. Again, it just takes a little bit of practice. So I'm going to do Control 0 to zoom out. I'm going to go to my next one, line 3. Click in on it. Use my hand, or press spacebar on the keyboard to change to a hand tool to reposition the window. And go back to your pen tool to add our point. And what I'm going to normally do is, like I said, whenever I draw, I try to find, look for that midpoint. So if this is the curve right here, midway, it's about right here. So I'm going to click, I'm going to drag. Again, I'm going to pull out the left side. Looks good. So with that point sort of matching, I'm going to let go, or that curve. And then I'm going to follow this line and find where the next curve is. It looks like to be about right here. So I'm going to click. I'm going to drag it out. It doesn't look too bad. Again, remember, we can always go back and adjust this. And then I'm going to come up to the top of this next curve. Again, the midway point looks to be about right here. Pull that out. Not too bad. And you can follow here. Here's the midway point of the next curve. I'm going to click and drag out that handle. Again, we're close. And coming to the top of this curve, click about midway through, about the middle, pull it out. That one's going to need a little bit of work, but we'll get there. And then I'm going to come down here, I'm going to click the end point, and I'm going to pull out that curve. And again, notice we're going to a straight line next, so we don't need this curve handle. So press down the Alt key, click on the point. Now it's a straight edge, and if I come over to my end point, I can also hold down the Shift key. I can click it to get my straight line. Okay, and again, if I need to adjust it, take your zoom tool, zoom in on the point, press A to get your selection, your direct selection tool, and again, adjust as needed. So in this case, I'm just going to pull it over just a bit, pull out the handles a bit more on each side. Looks good. And over here, I'm going to use my hand tool by pressing the space bar to move my window over. I'm going to select this point, and I'm just going to pull this handle out a little bit more. Hey, not bad. Okay, again, close. Looks good. I'm going to press Control-0 on the keyboard to zoom out. Let's go to shape number 4. All right, so for shape 4, let's take our pen tool and let's click, and we can add a line. Let's start anywhere. Let's just start here. Okay, so again, I'm going to follow the curve, and this seems to be about the halfway point up here. So I'm going to click and drag it out. Okay, again, don't worry if you don't get it perfect the first time. Again, I'm going to follow this curve, and here seems to be about the halfway point or the middle of the next one. So I'm going to click and drag. Okay, doing the best I can to close. All right, don't worry, because again, we can always go back and fix it. Follow the curve around. Here's the next midway point of the next curve. So I'm going to click. I'm going to pull that out. And that one we're going to have to come back and revisit, but it's okay. Let go of that. And then follow this around. Here's the next midway, so click and drag. That's better. Okay. And then follow it around. This looks like it might be about midway, so I'm going to click and drag. Okay. Follow this up about midway up here. Click and drag. Okay, close. It's all right, because again, we can always go back and fix it. So, and again, here looks to be the midway point of that curve, so I'm going to click and drag. Oh, that looks good. All right, and then for my final point, again, I'm going to click on it, but I'm also going to drag it so I can get a handle, just to be safe. All right. So let's take our direct selection tool and let's go through and clean up at least some of these obvious areas. Again, I'm going to click on this one just so I can kind of get an idea of the curve. So let's start with this one. Let's click on that dot, and I'm going to move this curve in because it's pulling itself way too far out. Okay, so again, I'm pushing it back towards the original point to tighten it up. Not bad. And for this one, same thing. I'm going to select that point. I'm going to grab this handle. I'm going to pull it down just a bit, so I get a little bit closer to the original point. Okay. So again, not too bad. And if I want to just tighten this up just a little bit, again, I'm going to select that handle and just barely move it. Okay, looks better. And over here, same thing. I'm going to select this point. Again, notice we're just slightly off, so I'm going to pull this in towards the original. And let's see what happens if we pull this over. This may need us to actually move the point a little bit. So I'm going to pull it and just keep adjusting it. And again, that's what I like a lot about this tool and the direct selection tool. You just sort of get to play around with the points to get it to where you need it. Select this one. I'm going to pull this one down because as I do, it tightens up that curve. Okay. So again, not too bad. All right. But that's the great thing about using the direct selection tool. The more practice you do, the better. All right. And finally, let's come over here to number 5. Okay. So I'm going to take my pen tool. I'm just going to start over here, and we're going to click. And see, here's the midway point. So we can add. Okay. Let go. Follow this around. This one might be a stretch, but let's see what happens if we click here and pull out tool. Not too bad, because we'll be able to pull this handle in to tighten it up. However, I don't need this extra handle here. So again, hold down the Alt key, click on the point, it gets rid of the bottom one. So from here, this looks like it's about halfway on the curve. So I'm going to click and I'm going to drag. Okay, it looks good. Then I'm going to come down here and click and drag to match that curve. And then I'm going to use the Alt key, click on that point to get rid of that extra handle. Okay, following this around, this looks like about the halfway point. So I'm going to click and I'm going to drag. Good. And down here, I'm going to select close enough, because again, we're going to come back and tighten that. Now you notice all I did was I just clicked once, and that's what it gave me. If you happen to draw out a handle, don't worry. Again, just Alt key, click on the point, and that will get rid of the extra handle over here. So I'm just going to click to make that a straight. Follow the curve. Here's looks to be about the halfway point. I'm going to pull it out. Okay, follow this around. Again, I'm going to click it. Do I want to drag out a handle? I don't think I need it, so I'm just going to press Control Z to undo, and I'm just going to click and just let it go, because we're going to adjust that on the next one. Click to my next point, find the halfway mark, click and pull. Good. Good enough for me. We're going to adjust that in just a bit. So I'm going to let that go. Or if you happen to pull out a handle, just because of where you put your point, again, just press down the Alt key and then click that point to get rid of the extra handle. Following up, this looks like about the halfway mark. Okay. Then I'm going to click the end point, again, pull out a handle, and then do that. Not too bad, and we'll clean it up in just a bit. But let's go and get these other pieces in. So I'm going to click up here, click there, there. Again, from my endpoint, I'm just going to click and pull out that curve. All right, same thing over here. I'm going to start up here. Again, you can always hold down the Shift key to make a straight line. Okay, same thing there. Holding down the Shift key, I'm going to let go. And now I can try to go all the way up here with a single curve. Or, tell you what, let's see what that looks like. That looks fine. All right, we're good. All right, so I clicked and dragged it out, and that looks good. All right, so not too bad. And if you want to clean anything up, again, go to your direct selection tool. You're going to zoom in, press Z. Let's see. So for example, let's zoom in up here. Press A. Find your point by selecting on the path. There's the point. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to pull that. Oops. Reselect the line. Select the point. Be careful to actually grab the handle. And pull that in just a bit. And take it. If we just pull this down. Like I said, it takes a little bit of getting used to. Anyway, I can do this all day. So that's the pen tool in a nutshell. So what I tell you to do is to basically go back and, if you started this out, go back and revisit and try to tighten up those points and those curves. Basically just to get some practice with it. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at this. And I know this was a long video. I apologize. That's just the nature of using this tool. But the more that you use it, the better you're going to get.